In this video, we're talking about Amuse and more specifically their new Pro plan because until now, Amuse were a 100% free online music distributor, but they have just released a new Pro plan for $59.99 per year. So what do you get in the Pro plan? Is it worth considering? And what are some of the alternatives? That's what we're going to dive into in this one. Now, the format of this video, we're going to do a quick overview so that if you're just here to understand what the new Pro plan is all about, you'll get that right up front. We're then going to go into a comparison with some other more popular services that are out there at the moment, do a deep dive into each feature, so let you know exactly what those features will provide. And then we've got a live Q&A about any of your questions about Amuse and about online music distribution if you're here live. If you're not here live and you're watching on the replay, no problem. If you've got questions or comments, drop those down in the comments section and I'll circle back and answer those. Quick disclosure up front here, this video is not sponsored by Amuse or DistroKid or any of the other distributors or anything else that I mentioned in this one. I am part of the DistroKid referral program and I have previously done sponsored videos for DistroKid. However, this one is one independent artist trying to give information to other independent artists about the best way or the options that you have to release your music online. So I just wanted to put that out up front so you know where this is coming from. So let's jump in and talk about Amuse and before we talk about the Pro service, we probably need to explain a bit of the background and what the free service is all about. So what I'll do is I'll throw it up on the screen here. This is the comparison. So this is Amuse Free versus Amuse Pro. So on the left there, you can see Amuse Free, and on the right side is Amuse Pro. So the free service, and I've been using and recommending this. I do use DistroKid for most of my music distribution, but for certain types of artists, which we'll talk about as we go through, Amuse Free is pretty cool. For $0, £0, €0, you can release unlimited music. There's a catch with that we'll talk about in a moment, and you'll keep 100% of your royalties. Now, as you can see there, the timing is 4 weeks. So it will take 4 weeks from when you push your music to DistroKid before they are able to process it and push it to the stores. So if time is of the essence, that's something to consider. They have customer support and they have only one artist profile. So it's bare bones. So if you are an independent artist, say I'm Pete Johns, because I am, but if I'm an independent artist, so what I did with this is I started a new band called Fear Cut, and I wanted to just release their music for fun and for free. So I went to Amuse and I could release my music directly from my mobile. That's the other big advantage Amuse has. It's got a mobile app. So if you're on Android or iOS, you can release directly from your mobile. However, you can only release one song at a time or one release at a time. Until that 4 weeks has elapsed, you can't then queue up another release. So keep that in mind if you're looking to use the free plan. So what gets added with the paid plan then? This is what we're here to talk about today. So you can see there, we still get 100% of those royalties. We get fast lane releases. So this is a 2-week release window instead of 4 weeks. We'll talk about that in more detail in the next section. We get fast lane support, which is quicker support if you have issues. We'll talk about that as well. Multiple artist profiles, so you can actually have multiple different artists to release under the account, which is kind of cool. Automatic royalty splits. We'll talk about that as well. Could be cool if you have a large team or you do lots of collaboration. It's going to release your music to Instagram and TikTok. You're going to be able to have team members, so you can put your manager in there, your mum, if you want to split some royalties with your mum, whoever you want to have in there. And YouTube Content ID is included in the paid plan. Now, YouTube Content ID was, or perhaps still is, included in the free plan as well. So I need to seek clarity on that. I don't know if that means it's being removed from the free service, because the fact that they're putting it here as a call out on the pro plan tends to say that perhaps that it might go away from the free plan. I'm not sure. That is 100% speculation at this stage. But as it stands at the moment, any release that you do through the free plan can also have YouTube Content ID. That's been my experience thus far. So that is the difference. That is what we have on offer here that you can add with Pro. So if you came here just to find out the basics of that, then you're good to go. But now let's dive into section 2, where we're going to talk about the features in a little more detail. So fast lane releases. So 2 weeks to be able to release your song as opposed to 4. Now that's a good thing. So if you're on the free plan and you're frustrated by the 4 weeks, it's going to halve it. It's going to cut it down to 2 weeks. Keep in mind a couple of things. One is that 2 weeks is the time it takes for them to distribute it to stores. There is then a lag between when the stores actually release your music publicly. So if you're thinking, oh, great, all my songs will get onto Spotify within 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe longer to actually get out there. But if you use Amuse Free, you know that already, because the 4 weeks, it sometimes takes 5, 6, 7 weeks to actually see your music across every platform. The other thing to keep in mind is how fast is fast. Well, DistroKid usually take between 1 and 2 days to actually get your music to stores. So I released a song 2 days ago, and it is already in about half of the stores. It's not in Spotify yet, but the song I released, it was on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Deezer within about 6 hours of me hitting submit on the button. So in my experience, and again, this is me as one creator, my experience, if you want speed, DistroKid is definitely a good option. They are super quick, and their plans start at $19.99 per year, as opposed to what we have here, which is $59.99 per year. So in my view, if you're just releasing bulk music, you want to get a lot of music out there as quickly as possible, and you're not interested in some of these other features, that might be something to consider there as well. Let's talk fast lane support, the next item on the agenda here. Fast lane support says response within 24 hours. Now, I read the fine print, so you don't have to. What this means is that they will get back to you within 24 hours. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll resolve your problem. So if you've got a release that hasn't gone through and you think, oh, cool, well, if there's any issues within a day, it'll get resolved and pushed through, may not necessarily be the case. So keep that in mind as well, that, and hopefully the concern I have with things like this is whenever there's a free option and a paid option, a lot of the resources may be pushed into the paid option. So what I'm hoping doesn't happen is that the free support actually degrades over time. Again, this is just speculation. I'm hoping that there's enough resourcing there. But the fact that you have one that says customer support and one that's fast lane support, you know what it's like. Everyone's been, well, not everyone, but if you've been to a theme park, you know that there's that fast lane. And as soon as places introduce that fast lane, the regular lane becomes the slow lane. It's just naturally how it works. The more people that are VIPs, the less important the people that are not VIPs tend to be. Let's talk multiple artist profiles. Now, this seems pretty cool, and other platforms do this to a certain degree. So DistroKid, for instance, just for that comparison again, DistroKid, if you have multiple artists that all have DistroKid accounts, you can actually set them all up so that when royalties are paid, it is automatically split out to different account holders. All of those account holders need to have active DistroKid accounts, which means that everyone needs to pay at least $19.99 per year. So if you had a team of, say, 10 people that were part of your music collaboration group, then yeah, you are at that point paying $200 a year. And what it looks like with the multiple artist profiles here is actually, I've jumped over to the next one, but I've jumped over to teams. But it seems like you could actually release under different names, and then you could actually split out that revenue amongst different people. So having the ability to do that is pretty cool. Now, DistroKid, if you want to release from more than one artist, and again, I'm just comparing with them because that's who I use. I know a lot of you folks do use them as well. If you're using them, you get one artist with the $19.99 account. You get two artists if you pay $35.99, and if you go up to $79.99, the label account, you get five plus artists, and then you pay as you go from there. So once again, there's an opportunity here that if you've got a lot of different artist names, you're collaborating with a lot of people, this might be a good option for you. We'll talk support multiple artist profiles. Let's talk about automatic royalty splits. So this looks pretty cool. And if you want to take the pain out of sharing your royalties, and you want to make sure that when you're releasing with your band, you got your 5 band members and you pay all 5 of them 20%, or let's be honest, the drummer gets 5%. Never, sorry, had to throw a bad drummer reference in there somewhere. No, the drummer gets paid more because they're more technically proficient or something. Phew, good save, Pete. So if you want to split your money out and you've got a bunch of people, from what I see here, it looks like only one will actually need to have the pro account. And then it seems that other members of your team can actually have a free account, and you can share it between them. Need to validate that. If anyone has confirmation of that or has used Amuse Pro, then please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to make sure that we can clarify this, but yeah, it's only been out a very short time. So this is like my first take after just reading through the terms of service. By the way, if you do want to check out all the terms of service and information for yourself, there are links down in the description that you can check those out as well. Let's move on. Instagram and TikTok are two of the features here. So if we jump back over to here, you can see down the bottom here, we have music on Instagram and music on TikTok as options. Now, this is something, once again, that DistroKid have been offering for a while now. So TikTok had been out for only a couple of months before DistroKid were, I think, one of the first distributors to actually offer this. And the same with Instagram. Music for stories is the thing. You can release to Facebook and then they put it onto Instagram for stories. So people can use your music in their Instagram stories. So that's another couple of options. It's cool that it's here. And again, if you're a free Amuse user, you're heavily into social. So I think this is the use case for this is you're an artist or you're a group, you're collaborating with, say, 4 other artists. All of you want to be able to release a bunch of music. You want to be able to do your royalty splits. You've all got your own social media accounts. You want to make sure your music is on Instagram stories and TikTok so that you can share videos using your own music. This could be a good thing because, again, for $59.99 per year, you can actually have multiple artists and you can have those royalty splits throughout your team, which is the next thing that we have here. We have team members. So this is a pretty cool one. And if you watch the little video over at amuse.io, so you can jump over to amuse.io and check out the video there, you'll notice that they have a little graphic there that shows, like, here's the release, and then here's all the different people. You got your manager here, and you got your promoter, and you got your collaborator and the original artist, and then it's like automatically pushing all the money to everyone. That's a cool system. As I mentioned, other distributors have had this in the past, but it does look like it would work pretty well, especially if you had a bunch of people, a big team of people, everyone has their own free Amuse account, then they can all utilize that together. So not a bad option there. And the final one here is YouTube Content ID. And this is the one I mentioned in the first section. YouTube Content ID is something that is already available on the on the free version. Now it is listed here as a pro feature. And again, I'm just not 100% sure whether that means that it will no longer be on the free service. I'm hoping that it still is on the free service. I will do a test. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, because I will be coming back and releasing a song using Amuse Free just to test that out. And if there's enough demand, I will sign up for Amuse Pro so I can try that firsthand as well, at least for a month. By the way, you might have noticed there that there is a monthly cost there. So it says $7.99 per month or $59.99 per year. If you do the mathematics on that one, the $59.99, it comes out to $95.88 per year. So if you are planning to use this and are planning to use it for more than about 3 or 4 months, it may be highly suggestible that you actually do choose the yearly payment option, because the monthly payments, you pay quite a premium for that one at the $7.99 per month. So that is all of the features. That is what we have on Amuse Pro plan. So yes, if that suits you, if that's the sort of thing that you're looking for, then that is what we that is something you can consider. A quick comparison here that I was going to do first, and I'm now doing second here. Quick comparison to DistroKid's $19.99 service. So if we're comparing these directly, $59.99 Amuse Pro, $19.99 DistroKid, so not the premium DistroKid. So YouTube, so what do you get with Amuse Pro that you don't? You get YouTube Content ID included. YouTube Content ID is $4.95 per release with DistroKid, so that is an extra payment that you do need to make. So if you want to put YouTube Content ID on, and I didn't explain very well in the last section, but YouTube Content ID means that when you release your music to YouTube, when you release your music online, it releases it to YouTube, and then if anyone else uses your music in their YouTube videos, then any revenue they make through the YouTube partner program is paid back to you. So yeah, if you're really keen to do that, protect your music and release it and use it on YouTube, that's something that you can consider doing there. And the other things, you get multiple artist profiles. So DistroKid only gets you one. Again, you can upgrade to $35.99 for 2 and to $79.99 for multiple, but you do get that multiple user account. So that's the other use case that the pro version of Amuse may be good for. And those automatic royalty splits, again, DistroKid offer that, but all members have to have a DistroKid plan in order to participate in royalty splits using DistroKid. So that is the pro features. That is what it is. So who is this for? At the end of the day, who would this be for if you are considering using the pro service? So artists who collaborate a lot and have a large team of people and therefore need automated ways to manage the music they're releasing and the royalties. I think this could be very good for them. And a mobile only creator So the one, not the one, but one of the big drawbacks of a lot of other distribution companies is that they are very much not mobile first. They're mobile second, third, and sometimes not even. So Amuse from day one have always been about mobile delivery of music. So if you are an iPhone or an iPad creator, you create on mobile and you want a way to release your music directly from your mobile device, then Amuse are pretty darn cool for that. So it might be worth checking them out. If you haven't tried the free version and you want to release some music, try Amuse anyway. It's a good entry level. I always recommend it if you just want to dip your toe in the water of releasing your own music, you're not in a huge rush and you don't need all the bells and whistles, then Amuse Free is pretty good. If you want to go to the next stage, maybe check out the Pro plan. Let's dive in now to the final section here, which is I'll chat to the folks live and see if we have any questions about Amuse Pro. Here we go. We've got the GarageBand guide. Hello to you, Patrick. Do Amuse take your releases down if you don't pay the $59.99 every year? DistroKid have an option to pay them a flat fee to have your release online indefinitely. A great question, and one I probably should have covered in the details because I did read through this. It's an important thing to consider. Yes, if you are no longer a member, so if you're no longer on the Pro plan, you lose access. Now, they worded it interestingly. It says you lose access to the Pro features. So it doesn't say your music is taken down, but does that mean that the Pro feature being, say, TikTok and Instagram, could they perhaps remove them from there? I've got a gut feel that they probably won't remove anything, but you'll just lose access to teams, royalty splits, the ability to manage multiple accounts. So that is what I would take it at, which I guess is a positive, in that if you have the pro plan and you put a bunch of music out and then you don't pay, you let your subscription lapse, you switch back to the free plan, does your music stay on there that you've released in the Pro plan? It sounds like a really good reason for this guy to try 1 month of Amuse Pro, release a song, and then remove my subscription and see what happens. That might be something that we have to test and get into the weeds. Let's have some other thing. We've got opinion here from Opposite. Says DistroKid is way better in my opinion. Yeah, it's horses for courses here. I don't see a massive value proposition for the Pro version of Amuse for a lot of creators. I think there's a niche subset of creators who it may actually help with. Let's see if we have any more. So Jade has put the Amuse Pro terms of service, which you can check out. There's a link to those here in the chat at the moment. John Connor has a question here. Are DistroKid more flexible compared to Amuse concerning YouTube Content ID approval? I use Reason Studio and some drum beats are not accepted on Amuse for YouTube Content ID. So, yeah, and I didn't mention this again, so great question to trigger this. In the terms of service, and where it mentions YouTube Content ID, it actually talks about the fact that Amuse have no control over whether YouTube approve the Content ID claim. So they will just submit it for YouTube Content ID, but they don't control it. And yes, there's like about 10 pages of legalese in the YouTube Content ID agreement that says a bunch of stuff. Now, I've used YouTube Content ID for Amuse on a couple of my tracks, but they were original tracks and they were using using live instruments. So there wasn't any issues with that. I have heard many stories from folks releasing with Amuse, trying to put Content ID on and getting it held up, getting it rejected because they're using beats and loops and samples, even though those beats and loops and samples are part of packs that they have either paid for or that are free to use, such as GarageBand loops. The reason being is that some other person has already released a song with that loop or beat or sound in it. So Content ID says, nope, this isn't original, so it won't be included. So yeah, it's DistroKid. I haven't tried personally with the Content ID, but it's the same. So DistroKid are just sending your song to YouTube, and then it's YouTube's filters and YouTube's approval process that says, yes, this is approved for Content ID, or no, it's not. So I guess to answer the question, no is the short answer to that one. It won't be any better if you used DistroKid. Let us see if we have any other questions. Thank you for your question, and thank you everyone for being here live. Let's see. I don't think so. John Connor says another thing here: the distributors lack a social network to foster collaboration between music makers and singers, for example. And yes, and I think Jay might have mentioned it here, but and I know Patrick at the GarageBand Guide, who's here on the stream, mentioned the same thing. But there is a new DistroKid service called Does It Slap, which is pretty darn cool. I haven't tried it out yet, but you can basically submit your tunes and other people can provide feedback. Yeah, here it is. DistroKid have just added a new feedback section for users to give each other's music feedback, which is pretty cool. So you can go in there right now. I think the way it works is it serves up a random track. At least that's what it seemed to do for me. You listen to the track, you make comments while you're listening, and then that creator gets your comments. And if you're a creator, you can submit your song. So maybe that's another thing that I need to do myself to check that out. Here we go. Yeah, so John Connor at the start of said the pro features the fast lane and the possibility to upload several releases at once, and the royalty split is cool. So yeah, I think in terms of what is cool here and what you would use this for, some of the use cases, I think that's definitely it. If you're frustrated with the slow releases on Amuse, you want it a bit faster. If you've got a big team of people that you want to do royalty splits and you want to make sure that all of your team members are involved in the process, and some of those social media releasing options, then yeah, it might be worthwhile. You just basically have to weigh it up, look at the value proposition, look at what you want to do, and then see if that's going to be. Let's take a look. Do we have any more questions here? We've got a comment here from Aaron Masaya. Hello to you. From what I understand so far, Amuse is better for starting out, but DistroKid is better for now. Amuse Pro may make it different for those who can sell a lot of music. Yeah, and that is a good point. The way that I would look at it is, yeah, if you're not sure about this caper and you want to just release a song or two, you don't necessarily want to commit to a yearly plan. So the thing with DistroKid, $19.99 per year, but unless you use the Leave a Legacy option, which is $30 per release, as soon as your account goes away, as Patrick was alluding to before, then your music is pulled down from stores. So if you don't maintain your DistroKid account, your music will no longer be there. Amuse, because it's free by its very nature, you don't ever have to close your account. Your music will stay there forever. So if you're just starting out, you want to try this out, release 1 or 2 songs, I think Amuse is actually a pretty sweet platform for doing that. The Amuse Pro then may be good if you want to use some of those pro features and then maybe not use them and go back to free. They probably don't want you doing that, but that's what I think I need to test out to see what would happen if you went to pro and then came on back to that after the fact. There was one other thing that I was going to mention, and now it's completely slipped from my head, and it was important, but I've forgotten about it. If it comes back to me in the next couple of minutes before we finish up here, I will let you know. So let's just quickly summarize what we've gone through here today. So there it is. It came back to me. The other question, I'll throw a question out there. How is Amuse free? So if DistroKid charge you $19.99 per year and Amuse charge you $0, and they offer basically the same sort of service. I mean, DistroKid's a lot quicker. Amuse takes a bit longer. How do they offer it for free? So DistroKid are not just a distributor. They actually have a label arm. So they have their distribution arm, and then they have their label arm. And the beauty part of this is that because they let independent artists distribute their music for free, and they have access to all of the stats, seeing how many people are streaming and buying those songs, you know where I'm going here. They can then work out who's popular, what's popular, and then they have the option to reach out to those artists and offer them a deal with Amuse, which is more of a record label type deal where they'll do PR and marketing and promotion. So the reason they're basically, instead of you paying them to put your music out, they're like, put your music out for free. And then if it's really good and they want to offer you a deal, they can do that. You don't have to take it up. So there's no obligation there, but they can offer you that deal. And then it might be, I've heard things like 50-50 splits, which is pretty extreme in terms of what you'd actually pay a manager or a PR or a record label. But yeah, if you were making $1 million from your streams anyway, and then they said, hey, we can help you make $2 million by doing this deal, and we'll give you PR, we'll give you promotion, we'll get you listed in Spotify playlists, etc., then maybe it would be worth considering. So keep that in mind if that is something that you wanted to go to. Yeah, so Jade says you should also be able to move your free uploaded track to Amuse if you change to another provider. Pre-uploaded track, yeah. So you can so you should be able to remove. Yeah, so if you've got music released there, you'll have an ISRC code for that release, and that's the important thing that you can actually use. Derek Smith says, can you set the selling price with Pro? It doesn't mention. So this is a feature that we have here in DistroKid where you can set your selling price. It's only 3 price options. It's just the iTunes sort of pricing, which is 99 cents, 69 cents, $1.29 per single. And then same with albums, $9.99, $16.99, $23.99, I think. It doesn't look like Amuse has that as an option with their Pro plan that you can actually, it doesn't mention it. And until I actually release with them, I won't know for sure. But it's sounding more and more like I do need to sign up myself for a month, even though I told you don't go with a monthly plan because the value is not going to be there. You're going to be paying a lot more than $59.99 per year. Maybe I need to actually try that just so that we can check it out here and sneeze. Gotta love live. I wonder what do newsreaders do when they need to sneeze on air? Do they just suck it up? Are they just professional and they don't do it? I don't know, but I'm clearly not professional because I did need to sneeze. I hope you found this useful. Bit of a thought provoker here. And if you are on the fence and you're thinking, what are my options for releasing music? Should I try out Amuse Free? Should I take the plunge and go Amuse Pro? Do I want to explore DistroKid? There's some options that you have here. There are a heap of others. I know people have talked about Route Note, Ditto, CD Baby, right back to TuneCore. If you want to go old school, there's a heap of ways you can release your music. And if you've got your own comments or suggestions or questions, please drop those down in the comments below and I'll return to those. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.